Hello again. I am back. Yes, same outfit, but just ignore that. You see nothing. Let me grab my drink really quick, actually. Hold on 1 second. Let me grab my drink. Oh my. It's so hot. It is so hot lately that I have resorted to icing all of my tea, and I am a hot tea drinker. I prefer my beverages warm to hot, but when it's this hot, I have to have iced tea. So iced tea it is in my wonderful iridescent Starbucks cup, because I love iridescent things, and I couldn't say no to it. So I normally don't do anything Starbucks, but the Starbucks at our local Target had them, and I was just like, oh, that is the perfect cup. I must have it. So we are here to talk about what I actually read in April. And before I do that, I wanted to introduce a new tool in my arsenal. And I used it in the last video a little bit, kind of on a test run, because I just got it. And that is this little camera here. It is just so cute. It is the Sony ZV, I believe, 1, and it is specifically designed for vlogging, and it is just the neatest little device. I love it. It like automatically turns off and turns on, and then it has its own little cover for the shutter and everything. I'm sorry, for the lens, the shutter. And it is half the size of the camera I'm filming on right now, which is my Sony a6400. And I love this camera. It does, I've noticed, have better picture quality. That may be because I need to do a little bit of adjusting to this one. I'm not sure yet, though. And also, it tends to pick up microphone. I don't know why the microphone is so much better on this one. I mean, it is a pricier model, so that probably has a lot to do with it. But the microphone on this one, it was way quieter in the film quality, and so I had to like adjust for that while I was doing the editing. And so just little differences, but this one's much lighter, much easier to carry around. It comes with a mini tripod, which I've repurposed and I'm using on my big camera right now. And it works great with the 6400 as well. So I have, you know, my really big tripod, and I have, I also got a sling that I have on the a6400 that I use, but then I also have this little itty bitty tripod that I can use for this. The little tripod does have Bluetooth in it that integrates with this. I don't know if I can get the Bluetooth to integrate with the a6400 that I have. I don't think it has that capability, but I'll have to fiddle with it and figure that out. But it has buttons on the tripod because you can hold it like a selfie stick. So that's a really interesting feature of it too. But this little guy is going to be handy for going out and shooting some B-roll, going out with the dog. I don't have to like carry the big honking camera with me if I want to do that, or film it on my phone, which I'll probably still use the phone a little bit. But I really wanted something kind of nice to take with me and point and shoot, take pictures of the children, video the children kind of outside doing stuff, and not worry about having my big expensive camera with me, potentially for somebody to run off with. This one, yes, it's still a bit of a hit at around a price point of $500 to $600, but not as big of a hit if I lose the big dog camera. So there's that. I wanted to get that out of the way and introduce this little guy, so just in case you notice some, you know, big differences in film quality, that's why. Let me take a drink. So then, what I actually read during April. So there's somebody out there? Hang on. Sorry about that. I thought I heard somebody. I guess it was just the dog or something. Anyway, so I was going to tell you what I read in April. Here we go. So at the very end of March, I had just finished Stoner. And that was a kind of a downer book. And sad, just a sad book. I wouldn't call it a downer book necessarily. It was a bit depressing at parts, for sure. So I needed a bit of a pick-me-up. And I had picked this up, I think, at the local grocery store because it was in one of those, buy one, get one bins or something like that. And so I picked up Book Lovers. And so I took this off my shelf, and I read it, and it was exactly what I needed. It was a cute story. It was really charming. It was kind of about a big town girl, New York City gal going to the country, and all of these different tropes that are associated with small towns. They even talk about the small town tropes and how ridiculous it is at the beginning. The interesting thing is that our main protagonist and her love interest are both in the same industry, in the publishing industry. He is an editor, and she was like a manager or a rep for the authors, and kind of worked for, the industry to do what was best within the author, to do what's best for the author, to give them more time to work with them, to, find good editors to work with them and to make their lives easier, that kind of thing. So, interesting book. It was really kind of fun. It was cute. It was a little bit hollow in some areas. Like, it wasn't, a very rich book. Some of the characters didn't really have much of a backstory. That was most of the complaints I saw, and I agreed with. And but otherwise, it was just nice, fluffy. There were some scenes, and that's always a bonus. If you know me, it's always a bonus. And just kind of good fun. So, book lovers, if you are interested, definitely pick it up and read it. Don't expect to be wowed by it, but it's a good time. I enjoyed it a lot. And I gave it 3 stars also. I gave that one 3 stars. I'm trying to remember to tell you guys what I actually scored them. And I gave it 3 stars because it didn't wow me, but it was still a decent book. The next book I listened to was called Cultish, The Language of Fanaticism. This was a very interesting book. I definitely got I got the idea maybe that she was very anti-capitalist. The author is very anti-capitalist, but I understand her reasoning behind that. I understand where she's coming from. So take everything she's saying, and just remember that she's a very anti-capitalist sort of gal. But she's basically talking about how language is used to manipulate people into cultish, behaviors. And they looked at actual cults, and cults as in, the fitness industry, how cultish it is in some ways. And then also, pyramid schemes. Multi-level marketing schemes, that's the words I couldn't find in my head. Multi-level marketing schemes, and how those basically take advantage of people, and the language that they use to actually manipulate your emotions to get you to commit. That was what was very interesting in the book. I enjoyed it. I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was awful. I just didn't agree with the author in some ways. Just her anti-capitalism just kind of really threw me off. So, not that I am against left-leaning people in any way. I am totally fine with that. I have some leftist ideology myself. I'm probably like in the middle of most things. Like, I'm not right wing. I'm not fully left wing either. I'm kind of right in the center of things. So you could definitely call me a centrist. So this is my actual review on GoodReads. Interesting book. I enjoyed the analysis of language and how it is used for manipulation. The author appears to have a very left-leaning ideology, so bear that in mind when listening to this. This appears to be anti-capitalist, question mark. Otherwise, it does have good advice for keeping a lookout for manipulation through language and actions in a group setting. So it does have really good advice in it. I thought it was an interesting book. It did not blow my socks off, so I ended up giving it 3 stars. And I think I gave it 3 stars because of just the ideology and the anti-capitalism message, which I don't have a problem with necessarily, but it's just she's really showing her hand. If she just left all of that out, it probably would have been a much better book to me, but I just have a feeling that people would be kind of split, you know, by the messaging maybe. The next book I read was Tulip Fever by Deborah Magok, and I loved it. I thought it was really cool. I watched the movie a few years ago, and it's about a forbidden love in the Dutch Netherlands, and it was during tulip trade, so during the actual tulip fever. The tulip trade does come into play in the plans of the people involved in the novel, of the protagonist and her love interest. It's a really interesting book with some really interesting facts in it about the tulip trade. A lot of those facts were pulled pretty much directly from another book that was called Tulipomania, which I've also featured on this channel. Like almost verbatim, which was a little odd to me. But it is what it is. I have a feeling that Deborah and the author, Mike Dash, of the other book, Tulipomania, I have a feeling they might have been talking to each other or something at that point. They were pretty closely published, like within a year of each other or something like that. But something was definitely going on there. Maybe they knew each other. Maybe they were working together. Heck, maybe they were even married. I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't know at all what the story is behind that. If anyone does know the story behind that and wants to share it with me, I haven't seen anything about it on the internet, like at all. And I'm interested in it. I'm interested in finding out the tulip fever conspiracy theory. I don't know. Anyway, it's a good book. It's a great read. The end of it's sort of heartbreaking in a way, but also it ends up good in a way at the end. So, good book. Go ahead and read that one if you're at all interested in the Dutch Netherlands. Definitely read it then. I gave Tulip Fever 4 stars also, just because I really enjoyed it. And then, dear viewers, after that point, I got sucked down the Sarah J. Maas wormhole so badly. I talked about that a little bit in my last video if you watched it. The long and short of it is that I got the itch really bad to listen to the rest of these books in the Throne of Glass series, because I never did complete the Throne of Glass series. And so I picked up the next one in the order that I needed to listen to, which is Empire of Storms. I listened to and read a little bit of this, but mostly listened to for sure. And I absolutely loved Empire of Storms. It's such a good book. So many interesting, fun battles happened in this. Intrigue, sorcery, magic, fighting, romance, all of it. It was all in here. And it was all of the characters that I love. Selena and her court, I suppose, are all in this book. And it was so good. Enjoyed the crap out of that one. Couldn't put it down. I pretty much listened to that one in 2 days, no problem. And then after that one, and I gave Empire of Storms 5 stars for sure. Then after that one was Tower of Dawn, and Tower of Dawn actually concentrated more on 2 other characters that are in the universe, but for good reason. They had to resolve a couple of plot points, and they also had to get more help from the other continents that they went to. So there was a reason for this book, but I was so sad they kind of broke up the party and had to concentrate on just these 2 characters. And then they added in a few more characters also with this book. and, you know, just resolved some plot points. It was still decent. I gave it 4 stars out of 5. It's just, it wasn't exactly what I wanted. So it was what it was. So anyway, that was basically my month, and it was pretty good. I think I did pretty well considering I had a test, life stuff going on, the weather was getting warmer, so we were just doing more stuff than we normally do, and just a lot of other things to concentrate on. So there you have it. Anyway, thank you for watching, for joining me, and please comment below what you read in April, if there's anything good you might recommend to me. And I hope that you all have a absolutely wonderful day. Please like and subscribe, as always. And I hope that you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you. Bye.